Religious Community Services was founded in 1967. A group of congregations of various faiths got together and decided to form Religious Community Services. They noticed there were numerous needs in Pinellas County that weren't being met, and so they began Religious Community Services. Today, Religious Community Services has 4 separate but unique programs. Religious Community Services has the RCS Food Bank, the RCS Thrift Store, Grace House for Homeless Families, and the Haven of RCS, which is a certified domestic violence center. It's one of the 42 certified domestic violence centers in Florida. The Haven of RCS was founded in 1981, and we have 3 separate campuses. We have an emergency safe house, which houses women and children for up to 45 days. We have advocates that work closely with them and help them gain self-sufficiency, help them find work, and provides them various needs so that they can get on their feet. We also have a permanent living program where survivors can stay for up to 2 years in a confidential location. Apartment complex with 11 apartments, and one of which 2 single women can share. And our largest campus is our outreach department. And our outreach department offers one-on-one advocacy with survivors of domestic violence. We have support groups, 7 support groups throughout the community. We have primary prevention, education. We have advocates that go to preschools and the middle school and high schools to teach children about healthy relationships. And we also have the InVEST program, which stands for the Intimate Violence Enhanced Services Team. The InVEST advocate provides intensive case management to survivors of domestic violence who are at high risk of lethality. The program began here in Pinellas County in 2009, and it was through the Attorney General's office that this initiative started. It's also in Hillsborough, Collier, and Pinellas and Sarasota counties. The primary focus of the InVEST program is to provide free and confidential services to those that are high risk of lethality. The InVEST advocate works closely with law enforcement to help hold the batterer accountable. The InVEST advocate reviews local police reports and reaches out to those survivors that are at high risk of lethality, looking for the high risk factors, and also takes community referrals. Community partners will also refer to the InVEST advocate when they feel that they are working with a survivor that's at high risk of lethality. The high risk of lethality factors include: did the suspect use or threaten to use a gun, knife, or any type of weapon against the victim? Did the suspect threaten to kill the victim or injure the victim's family or pets? And did the suspect threaten or strangle the victim? And actually, strangulation is unfortunately very common in these highly lethal domestic violence situations. Oftentimes, it can be very lethal, and sometimes it's just the ultimate form of power and control, because the abuser is trying to show the victim, I have the power to take you out if I want to. So if you don't do as I say and you don't do what I want, I can certainly kill you. And in Florida, strangulation has become a 3rd-degree felony, and if the abuser strangles the victim and cuts off the blood supply to the brain or the airway, it can be classified as a 3rd-degree felony. There are some warning signs to look for regarding strangulation. Sometimes because the airway has been restricted, the survivor of a strangulation could have a very hoarse and raspy voice, and that's something to look for. If you see that someone is talking to you and has a very hoarse and raspy voice, you may want to ask them about what's happened to them. You don't always see the bruising around the neck. Sometimes there's just internal injuries and swelling that can progress within 36 hours. And that can also cause death later on. So that's why it's very important to recommend survivors seek medical attention after they've been strangled. You can also see broken blood vessels or petechiae in the eyes, and anywhere above where the blood supply has been cut off, there could be petechiae or bruising underneath the skin that begins to show, and that's something to look for. Another high risk factor that the InVEST advocate will be looking for while the InVEST advocate is reviewing police reports in particular is for stalking. That is a big red flag. If the abuser is stalking the victim, there's a high chance of lethality. There's definitely obsessive and possessiveness going on, and that's definitely a warning sign. That's another red flag. Also, if there's drugs or alcohol problems, that can also be a red flag. If the abuser is under the influence of a substance that just makes it, he's less inhibited and makes it just that much easier to be abusive. Also, if there's been separations between the parties, if the victim has filed for divorce or filed for an injunction for protection, it's the most dangerous time when you leave an abuser for good and they feel like they're losing their power and control in the relationship, and this could be a high lethality moment. So the InVEST advocate would also want to reach out to those individuals who have filed for divorce or filed an injunction in the situation. Also, if there's a child in the home that's not the abuser's child, that's also a red flag, and it could be a highly lethal situation. If there's any type of prior criminal history, not just domestic violence, but if the abuser has a prior criminal record, that's also a red flag and someone that the InVEST advocate should reach out to. If you have anyone that you feel is in a high-risk relationship, please contact our outreach office at 727-441-2029 and ask to speak with the InVEST advocate. Thank you.